Good morning, Oil Country. The Oilers win Game 1 of their Western Conference Series against Los Angeles Kings 7-2. And if my voice sounds a little raspy, I did a live stream of the entire game last night, live reaction. A lot of you were there, which was awesome. Thank you so much. For those who didn't tune in, that is A-OK. This is where I'm doing the post-game recap now. That's why I also did not do a post-game recap last night. Usually I have those up within a half hour to 45 minutes after Oilers games. But because I am streaming the playoff games this season, or this playoff season, I should say. Post-game recaps will probably just end up turning into day after videos unless the Oilers manage to get a not 8 or 8:30 p.m. start time. So hopefully the Oilers don't always get these late starts. It was 8:20 p.m. puck drop last night. Not quite sure why, considering the schedule said 8 p.m., but you know what? It happens. It's the playoffs. It's the Western Conference. I feel bad for those of you who live out east or live out, wherever you're living that is not in Western Canada or the Western U.S. But fun game, though, right? Did we have fun? I think we had fun. My heart rate when the game started, I think, was probably 200 beats per minute. As the game went along, I was feeling a lot more comfortable. I will say, though, before I get into the kind of the meat and potatoes of this video, the Oilers had the Kings dead and buried in the dirt, and I think moving forward here, just to prevent the Kings from being able to get back in the game and wrestle some of that momentum, it would be nice if Edmonton could bury the hole and throw away the shovel next time, because the fact that the Kings kind of found their way to claw back in the second when they went down 4-0, and then they found a way to kind of claw back in the third after fans started doing the wave, and then there was a puck that went off Darnell Nurse's foot, and then Cody Cece's stick exploded when he tried to make a pass. Those two goals for the Kings late in the third to make it a 6-4 game before Fogle scored the empty net. Obviously, it was just bad luck. There's not much you can do if you're Stuart Skinner, not much you can do if you're Cody Cece or Darnell Nurse. Just truly bad luck. But I'm blaming the wave here. That's where, that's what's happening. I am blaming the wave. I obviously wasn't at the game. Fans, you do the wave. I'm just kidding, mostly. So let's kind of jump into the video. So today's talking points, the topics: Adam Henrique, Zach Hyman and his hat trick, Connor McDavid, of course, the wave. I already kind of touched on it. Evan Bouchard, Edmonton's special teams, and a huge thank you at the end of the video. So, as I mentioned, the Oilers won 7-4, and at the bottom of the screen, kind of in that purplish font writing, you have the advanced metrics. The Oilers had a 53.99 expected goals for last night. Corsi for was 48.33%. High danger Corsi for was 53.33%. And scoring chances for was 51.02% in favor of Edmonton. That is all 5-on-5 metrics there. Does not take into consideration the power play, that sort of thing. But when I look at those metrics, the Oilers actually were, they dominated most of the game. When they went up 6-2 early in the third period off the Zach Hyman hat-trick goal, they sat back a little bit. And in the second period, after the 4-0 goal, they sat back a little bit. The Kings made it 4-1, and then Lewis had that goal called back. It would have been 4-2, and the Kings had a lot of momentum on that second goal that eventually got called back. I think the lengthy review took some of that momentum away from the Kings. The Oilers were able to re-grasp it, kind of take control once again. The Kings got that late second period goal, but the Oilers took over at the start of the third. The first 10 minutes of that third period was terrific for Edmonton. It was low event hockey in terms of the Kings being able to generate anything. But, again, just... I would call it more bad luck than anything. The fact that this game was as high scoring as it was, I feel bad for Stuart Skinner. Obviously, I don't think he cares about his save percentage in a win like that, because out of the 4 goals, none were really on him, to be honest. But let's get into the topics. So we have Adam Henrique. He got his first playoff goal, his first playoff point since he was with the New Jersey Devils in 2012 in the Stanley Cup Finals against the LA Kings, of course. So it was nice to see Adam Henrique contribute right away for the Oilers. Absolute beautiful shot, too. Just an absolute snipe. Unbelievable shot from Adam Henrique, and I'm very happy that he looks comfortable on that top line for Edmonton. That is a good thing moving forward for the team. So good for Adam Henrique. Just wanted to touch on that very quickly. And then, of course, let's talk about the Zach Hyman hat trick. That is his first career playoff hat trick. And the amount of hats that were thrown and the delay that resulted from the amount of hats thrown, I absolutely love it. Oilers fans, you were wild at the game last night. Watching the game on Sportsnet, my ears, they're still ringing from how loud the crowd was watching that game. So, and I wasn't even there. So couldn't even imagine actually being in Rogers Place. That must have been absolutely wild. And for Zach Hyman, continues to produce despite his rich upbringing. Of course, I cannot believe that is. I'm just kidding. We have to stop beating that dead horse. Zach Hyman, terrific. Obviously, he is a mainstay on that power play. He got the Oilers rolling, scored the first goal of the playoffs for the team early in the first period. And again, his goals come in front of the net, off his foot, whatever. I saw some people saying that Hyman might have kicked that puck in. Absolutely not. He kind of moved his foot, but there was no kicking motion. I'm really glad that they didn't review it or that it didn't get called back. Because could you imagine having like a 10-minute delay from all those hats being tossed onto the ice and then having the hat-trick goal called back, which I'm pretty sure happened to Hyman once, or at least an Oiler. I can't remember what game it was. I think it was against Pittsburgh. Might have been a hat-trick goal that eventually got called back for, goal interference or a kicking motion or something, and all the hats that were tossed on the ice. No hat-trick. I'm glad that did not happen last night. Zach Hyman, unbelievable player, and if he plays like that throughout the playoffs, Edmonton obviously wins more games than they don't. And speaking of the Oilers winning games, scoring goals, and players that contribute to the Zach Hyman hat trick, Connor McDavid had 5 assists last night. 5 assists in a playoff game for Connor McDavid. I don't know when the last time that has happened, at least not on the Oilers. Connor McDavid is, right from the opening shift, you could tell he had his feet moving. During the live stream, I even made a mention of it as Connor McDavid is he's ready. And in terms of being ready, Chris Knoblauch had the team ready. There was some concerns going into tonight that because the Oilers lost 4 of 5 at the end of the regular season, that maybe they weren't quite ready to go. There was concerns about their 5-on-5 play. I think the first period proved that Edmonton was more than ready to go. The expected goals after the first period was 2.2 to 0.2 in favor of Edmonton. The Kings had absolutely nothing going in the first period. And they didn't really start generating anything until Edmonton went up 4-0. And again, that's a score effects thing that takes over. Teams, whether consciously or subconsciously, you get a big lead, there is a tendency to just kind of sit back a little bit. As I mentioned in the intro, though, next time, cover the hole and throw away the shovel. Bury them. Score as many as it takes. I don't care. It is the playoffs. And credit to the Kings for sticking around, obviously, because the playoffs are tough. And the fact that they were even able to wrestle any kind of momentum in that type of environment with that crowd going mental and the Oilers with a big lead, that is a credit to them, and the Oilers just have to make sure that they are careful. The Kings have proven that they can pounce, they will score goals, but it was nice that Edmonton got that early lead, and LA was they weren't really able to establish the 1-3-1. Throughout most of the game, to be honest, they were forced to open up, and that's how Edmonton needs to continue to make sure that the games go. Get an early lead, force the Kings to open up, and the Oilers' attack off the rush was very strong too. There were numerous instances off the rush where the Kings, they did not have everyone back and ready in the neutral zone. That was a huge key in my series preview. Edmonton attacking off the rush, if they're able to get that puck out of their zone quickly, it prevents LA from even being able to establish the 1-3-1, and Edmonton can pounce and attack, and they did. So, moving on to the next topic, the wave. Of course, I did touch on that in the intro. The fans started the wave when the team went up 6-2. It was probably about six or 5 minutes left in the third period when the wave was going. And it's funny because on the stream, and I've been vocal about the wave before, and I don't judge people who do the wave. I personally am not a fan of the wave, but that doesn't mean that you can't do it. But I made a mention of it on the live stream last night when I was watching. I was like, you know what? This is fun. The crowd's having fun. It's 6-2. You know what? Do the wave. Have a blast. And pretty much right after I said that, the puck went off Darnell Nurse and in. So it was 6-3. And the crowd, there's a bit of a hush in the air. Everyone's like, oh, okay, maybe. And then a minute later, Cody Ceci, puck goes to his stick. He tries to make an outlet pass. The stick explodes. LA then capitalizes to make it 6-4. And that it was at that moment where I was like, okay, maybe the wave is actually a curse. So, maybe next time with the wave, let's see, maybe we'll wait until Edmonton has a 7 or 8 goal lead, and then I'll be comfortable with the wave, and maybe we'll do it with 1 minute left in the third, and maybe then I'll be a little bit more comfortable. All right. I think it's just unfortunate. Like I said, it's bad luck. It's just unfortunate that, the crowd started the wave, and then those 2 unlucky breaks happened where LA was able to get within 2, but Warren Fogle made sure that that's as close as they would get with the empty netter. So good for Warren Fogle. Nice to see him continue to contribute contribute into the playoffs here after a career year in the regular season. And speaking of career years in the regular season and contributed in the playoffs, Evan Bouchard. He had 4 assists last night. He now has 30 playoff points in 29 games. I don't think there are a whole lot of defensemen that have been able to put up 30 points in their first 29 playoff games. I would have to do some fact checking and stat tracking to figure out what the other defensemen are, but Evan Bouchard had a terrific game. His expected goals for was terrific. Him and Ekholm absolutely locked it down. And I wanted to also mention too, Nurse and Ceci. I thought they had a good game other than, the bad luck at the end of the third period, the puck off Nurse's foot, Ceci's exploded stick. Other than those two plays, Nurse and Ceci had a really good game. I thought Kulak and Desharnais played fine. I thought Desharnais was really good on the penalty kill, but I would like to see just a little bit more from that pair. But Evan Bouchard, terrific game, 4 assists. And when your top offensive defenseman is moving the puck the way he was, getting shots on net the way he was, getting the puck out of his zone, him and Ekholm were terrific last night. And for Evan Bouchard, 4 assists to open up the playoffs for him. You love to see that. And speaking of Evan Bouchard, of course, he's a mainstay on the Oilers' #1 power play unit. And let's talk about special teams. So the Oilers ended up going 3 for 4 on the power play last night, and they were 2 for 2 on the penalty kill. So you're going to win most games that you score 3 power play goals and don't give up any power play goals against. I hope it continues, but I'm a little bit concerned now that there's the referees, the officials, which, by the way, I thought they called a good game last night. I thought it was a fair game. Even the Zach Hyman's goalie interference, there was a bit of contact before he hit the goaltender, but I don't think there was a lot of force where he himself, he was pushed in to Cam Talbot. But for special teams for Edmonton, this is where, the officials might look at the Oilers power play. They're already 3 for 4 in this series, so you might see the officials hesitate to make calls now on the Kings. And I'm not saying this because I think that there's going to be some kind of conspiracy or that Edmonton's not going to get as many power plays now. I don't think that's the case. However, I do think the Kings might be able to get away with just a little bit more because officials, they want to keep games close. They want to keep them tight. They want to keep them exciting for fans. That's usually how it goes. And unless it's completely egregious and obvious, they won't make a whole lot of calls, especially in the playoffs. And now that Edmonton is 3 for 4 on their power play already, hopefully that does not discourage the officials from making the right calls. So, but it was a great night for Edmonton overall. Just a terrific game 1. It was nice to win a game 1 on home ice for the first time, in the first round since 1990 or 1991, I believe. Over 33 years. So first time in my lifetime I've seen a game 1, round 1 home ice win. So you love to see it. And I think it was the first time that they won a round 1 game 1 in probably since 2003. I think it was against 2003 against Dallas. So for Edmonton, good to jump to an early series lead. You love to see that, and they need to continue this momentum and keep pushing forward with it. And just to end this video here quick, I just want to say thank you so much to those who tuned into the live stream last night. I will be live streaming games 2, 3, and 4 as well. I will make sure that during pregame reports before the games, I will always have a link to the live stream or what will be the live stream in the description. And I just wanted to thank everyone that joined the Austin Hockey League Bracket Challenge. Now, if you have created a bracket on bracketchallenge.nhl.com and you have not joined the Austin Hockey League yet, I will leave a link in the description. If you haven't created a bracket at all, if you haven't signed up, it is now too late. Submissions, you cannot create anything on there anymore now that every series has started up. But the support on the stream last night, there were donations, the subscriptions. You are all so amazing, Oil Country, seriously. Let's hope this playoff run continues. Let's hope that it is a long playoff run. Let's hope that we are playing into June, and we'll see if I continue to have a voice by the end of this first round, because on top of the live streaming, the cheering on goals, and then of course content creation, I'm going to make sure that my voice is rested up. Appreciate it so much. I know this video I'm kind of rambling and not as on topic as I usually am, but you know what, it's the playoffs, it happens, we'll figure it out. Thank you so much. Make sure you like these videos. Make sure you hit subscribe. Tell your friends and family if you think they'll like this content. And of course, make sure you tell someone that you love them. All right. Thank you so much, Oil Country. I will see you tomorrow for the pregame report for game 2. We'll see if Knobloch makes any kind of lineup adjustments. I don't think he's going to make too many adjustments. I think he's going to keep things stable as long as the team is winning. Let's go Oilers. Big game 1 victory. You love to see it.